let us begin.
In every age, there are those who fight for power and those who fight for purpose. We are Gaiscioch, born not of conquest, but of compassion. We were the outcasts, the overlooked, the forgotten. Together, we form a formidable host, sworn to protect and unite the underestimated, giving voice to the voiceless, to stand when others fall, to charge forward while others retreat. For the road ahead is uncertain, yet our unity lights the way. We do not wait for destiny, we ride to meet it. Every challenge met at the gate, every dragon ripped from the sky, every foe's vanquished by morning light. We do not yield, we do not surrender. So raise your banner, steel your spirit, and walk with us into the storm. We are the Gaiscioch, and our legend has only just
Alright, everybody, I want to give you a big welcome and thank you for joining me today for the Gaiscioch Summer of Gaming Festival. I do hope that you enjoyed the little intro. Hopefully you heard it. I've had sound problems today, so who knows if this is all going to work. I'm really hoping that it does. So first up, we're going to take a look at some of the community stuff real quick. First up, I'm going to give you a little rundown of today's agenda. First, we're going to go over the announcements, like the Extra Life schedule this season, some community news. Then we're going to jump into chapters, the Guild Wars 2, Conqueror's Blade chapters. Then we're going to check out our adventure at Dune Awakening, see how that's going. Then we're going to go into the MMORPGs that are on the horizon for us with Chrono Odyssey, Aeon 2, and Arcade Chronicles. From there, we're going to take a trip over into the Siege Warfare land. If you like Siege Warfare, we are just inundated with a ton of Siege Warfare games right on the horizon coming real soon. We have Warborn Above Ashes, Bellator's, Lionheart's, Avalon, Rise of the Templars, Anvil Empires, Chronicles Medieval, and Kingmakers. All coming real soon. So that's all kind of, it's going to be real exciting. Then we got some co-op games, Soulframe, Jump Ship, Voyages of Nera, and Out of Time. So we're going to be checking out all of these things throughout today. So in each segment, we're going to give a time for an open floor so people can talk about them and see what they like about it, what they don't like about it, what they think about it. I really want to kind of turn this into something where we're sharing together rather than just me talking at you. So plus it gives me a chance to do things like take a sip of something so that I'm not so parched at the end of this thing. So it should be fun. All right. So first up, the Extra Life. This is our 15th year doing it, and we're going to go big. So we got a hype weekend, November 1st through 2nd. Then we got the main event, November 8th through 10th. Going to be giving away prizes not only to the people that are attending the raffles, throwing in their raffle tickets. We're also going to do a prize drawing for donors, and we're going to do a prize drawing for participants, people that actually show up to the event, and then we're going to do a prize drawing for the viewers, the people that watch on Twitch. So it should be a lot of fun. Going to kind of diversify it a bit, and it's always a great time. for those of you that have attended in the past, it's been fun. We are raising money for the Children's Miracle Network. It is a charity after all, so you can go over to gsch.info/el-donate if you'd like to contribute or learn more. As for our eldership team, right now we are sitting at this. We have me, Foghladha, as a community leader. Over in Conqueror's Blade, our 8th chapter, we have Donald M., Evil, Izzy, Pedro, and Zugi Zork. Over in Guild Wars 2, our 4th chapter, we have Jillabod, Gma Fog, House Carl, Kitty, Micah, and Namri. Then we have our advisory board with the Kirin, Kiriel, Sir Henry Vale, Chemical, Radiological, Tip, Dargren, Rylissa, Trithian, Jerome, Sequirrel, and Varder. These people help support all our other games that we do, like the million other games. So really big kudos to them for helping keep an eye on things and help things move along. Taking a look at some of our promotions recently, we had Darcy hit the Legends title, so that was long overdue. I think removing the contribution donation part from the requirements helped with that. And then with Guardians, we had Dalmer, Mazar, and Tracker all hit the Guardian rank. Our veterans this time were Ariana, Cool Muffin, Grim, Hellcat Pure Purple Rain, Liang, Poetic Baker, Sergeant Slaughter, Shaman Hawkeye, Shine, and Usadine. And members, these are the people that made it past the new member status. Borator, Bo the Legend, B-Wags PB, Maple Weaver, Minking, Quinoa, Sarlis, and Skittlefart. Skittlefart is one of our newest guys over on Conqueror's Blade, and he's also jumped over into Guild Wars 2, and is a really cool guy. His name first put me off, but in all honesty, he's a real cool guy if you ever get a chance to talk to him. He's really nice, very helpful, very picks people up all the time. He's always looking at the upside, which is good. All right, for new members, look at that. We got a bunch of new members. Thank you all for joining us. I do hope that you've enjoyed your stay. Some of you may come and go, but that's okay. You're always welcome back. So don't feel that if you leave, you can't ever come back. We're not that kind of place. You're always welcome back. Doesn't matter if it's been a month of you being with us or a day of you being with us. If you decide to come back sooner or later, we're more than happy to have you. All right. This cannot happen. None of this Gaiscioch stuff could happen without these people. These people have been supporting the community. They have contributed either through Patreon, through Discord, or through Twitch. They are all huge players in this community's success. With running anything of this size, there is costs, like financial costs. And for the longest time, I managed that myself. Didn't ask for any help, and eventually it became too overwhelming, and I wasn't able to do it. And I was working literally a side job just to pay for Gaiscioch. And that's when actually it was Pops decided to tell me, hey, look, we're going to help support you whether you like it or not. So I decided to open up the Patreon, and that went well, but that only helped the Americans at first, and the Canadians and Europeans wanted to help. So we did the Discord support thing to help international be able to do that. Patreon, I believe, now does international, but Discord has actually a better kickback anyways. So, and then there's the Twitch supporters, people who support me on Twitch. So I want to give a shout out to all of them. So I created this nice little view to help give a little shout out. So if you want to check out who's supporting and how to support, you can go to gsch.info/support. Now this list is everyone who has ever supported. So that is pretty much a comprehensive list. All right, we're going to take a quick look at the statistics. I don't know if I correctly fine-tuned it to our new 6-month. I think it's still stuck on 30 days. So 413 total active members. 294 have logged in the website for Guild Wars 2. 17 have logged in the website for Conqueror's Blade. 8 for Dune. Throne of Liberty still has 4 people holding out. And Guild Wars, which is actually starting some events again. So if you're interested in Guild Wars events, be sure to connect with Micah. He's running some events. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into some of these games. First up, we're going to take a look at Guild Wars 2, our first major chapter.
Whatever the Inquest are searching for, we need to find it first.
These fools have no idea. the power that's buried here. The ley energies on Castora flow in abundance. The wildlife is vicious. Finding the future requires exceptional vision. We will use every tool at our disposal. After this is done, they'll remember us forever.
Alright, so looking at Guild Wars 2 Visions of Eternity, it's coming on October 28th, 2025. We join the Astral Ward, a mythical new faction. It's going to be interesting. So we're going to explore the surreal Mythrite Gambit map. New story arcs will be set in the Astral Plane. There will be a new mentor NPC, Akeem. Professions reworks and elite specialization updates. There's been a lot of kind of cool elite specializations teased. The Mesmer is getting an instrument class, so I will finally be able to play a bard legit in Guild Wars 2, so that'll be nice. Quality of life improvements for builds and skills. PvE focused gameplay with open world metas and instance content. Ongoing living world support and festivals events. And then ideal for returning and new players. A lot of stuff going on right now in GW2. I highly recommend anyone that hasn't picked it up in a while to go pick it up. We're doing a lot of new player stuff too. Like I have a new player Wednesday event. It's constantly on the calendar. Always happy to have you there. So if you're looking to join the Guild Wars 2 chapter, there you go. So population 357. I don't think I got this updated. Yeah, that's not updated. But yeah, we have, like, literally in the roster right now, I believe we have 415, something like that. So, alright, so let's go ahead and flip back to this one real quick, and I want to open up the floor for everybody in Discord. Alright, Discord. Go ahead and unmute if you want to talk about Guild Wars 2. Let's talk about Visions of Eternity. Who's got some things to say about Visions of Eternity and the interesting stuff? There's about a 15 to 30 second delay from Twitch to Discord, so.
Just a question, where did you get that map name, Mythrite Gambit?
Let me see. I think it was from the.
Yeah, I'm just wondering because isn't that the raid map for one of the
It
wings,
might be.
Wing 6?
I was rather quickly putting this together, so I might have grabbed the wrong name.
Yeah, no worries. I'm just.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a dumpster fire lately for me, so.
Yeah, well, but I mean, anyway, it's just that they are bringing pretty good stuff in, and yeah, the specializations are like, okay, we are not getting necessarily new weapons, but new mechanics for the different classes, like the troubadour.
Yep.
And I assume that it's like your skills are like, okay, one will be mandolin and I think flute and that sort of thing. So yeah, it's fun to see.
Pocket is the Comfort Inquest Voyages launched in search of Castora, an island so remote.
Yeah, the island is Castora is the.
It is Castora.
Okay. All right. Well, I can't change it right now, so. All right. So about the game, were you guys excited?
Oh yes, very much
Absolutely.
so. So I'm
Yeah.
doing the return to Guild Wars 2 ruined all the other MMORPGs for me. I've been trying Albion online, and I'm like, why do I need to compete for nodes, gathering stuff and shinies when I can play Guild Wars 2 and just get everything forever?
That's a very good point. Yeah, I feel like Guild Wars 2 is kind of the staple MMO that is really hard to compete with. It just has so much to do in so many different avenues. Like it's got the world v world for the people that like Siege. It's got the PvP for the skilled PvPers that want to play tournament play. Then you have the PvE side of the game, which is kind of divided up into open world content, story content, raid content, and then the crafting system is huge. You can, now that they have the homesteads, you even have decorating your homes and going out there and collecting the stuff that you need to get the skins for your home that you want. It's just got so many layers, and it's after a decade they've added so much that no matter what you want to do, there's something to do there. Like I still don't feel like I'm ever going to see the quote end of the game, because there's just so much content that's I can just go down any path and never finish.
When were homesteads introduced?
That was introduced with the latest expansion, the one that's currently live right now.
Genthier.
Yep. You can decorate your houses.
That they're bringing the raids in so that those people who like challenging content they can do the raids and yeah, of course. Now that the homestead is brought to people, there will be different kind of homestead from the newest expansion as well. So you can
have both.
Different, yeah.
Yeah, you can have both and just change between them or go in between them. It's like if you want to be in this one the other day, that one the other day, you just change in between the homesteads.
And I'm pretty sure I read somewhere that they were going to make an easy mode for the raids. I'm not sure where I saw that, but there was talk about it.
It's already introduced, so you can do it so that if your group dies, it makes the next try easier and easier and easier, so that you will end up killing the boss, and you will get at least some rewards. So
good.
Yeah, it's already in the game. So that's
awesome.
That's nice. And
I thought I saw that, but with my month, I could have been hallucinating.
yeah.
It also says in 2026, raids and strikes will be unified under the same structure, improving access for new players.
Nice.
So they will be improving everyone's way of getting into raids if they want to, making it easier and things like that.
Yeah, but the emboldenment mode, it's already there, so it's weekly schedule. It every week it's different wing, and you can do it. And it's just that it helps learning the wing normally, and you don't need to bash your head in on hard fights.
All right, so let's go ahead and talk about events. I know Gma Fog still has her map clearing events going on. She's not here right now. She probably won't be around for another hour or so. But Darcy, you still have your story events going. Do you want to mention that and what you're up to?
Certainly. My event is actually a slower paced event. We don't rush through the storyline. I'm sorry, I should have started with that first. We're helping people go through the story. We actually started from the very beginning. We take our time and we go through and try to get all the achievements for the people who need them. Some days are really good, and some days, we get a little bit done. But I have almost 2 full groups for my event, and everybody's really patient. We've got I want to say one person in particular that she's always very helpful. She always leads my second group, and willing to open up that wiki and we watch videos and try to figure out the best route to help people. And I've also, Mika's always there to help for advice or whatever. But yeah, it's a great event if you don't mind going at a slower pace. And again, we started from the beginning and we're just going through in order and doing all the stories that are available.
Awesome.
That's about it.
I am doing a story event as well on Mondays. It's a little faster pace. We try to cover about 3 chapters each time that we go. But we try to get as many of the achievements as we can, but we don't do the group rotation and repeating the same thing over and over and over again. The main thing is to try to unlock the masteries, get the story content complete, and then we can go back through and do the little achievement completions. And then the other event that we run is on Wednesdays. It's a rotating event between New Player World Boss Tour and Secrets of Tyria. Secrets of Tyria has actually been going really well. We've been doing a lot of the little secret areas like the jumping puzzles, the mini dungeons, and then the various secrets that I know about around Tyria is showing those. And I'm even finding people that have been playing this game for 10 years that had no idea that certain things are there. So it's been a lot of fun. And then we have our New Player content or World v World night on Fridays at 4 p.m. right before reset. I find that that's usually the best time to do it because new players aren't going to get try-harded to death. That content is usually the reset night and then the first part of the week. By the end of the week, all the ranks have been decided. People already know what servers we're going to be playing next week. It's a really low stress environment, so we can do a lot of things like farming things and getting guild missions done, stuff like that. We do have our Last Chance Guild mission still running, I believe. Kitty, do you still attend that?
Got distracted. What?
The Last Chance Guild missions in Sork?
No. But it is going strong. It is still going.
I keep seeing the messages, and it seems like it's still running. So yes. There is a Sunday evening guild mission event if you're up for it.
It was overlapping with my roleplay time, but yes, it's still going. Whenever I'm there, it's still going.
All right. Does anyone else have any events they want to talk about? Micah, do you have anything?
Oh yeah, so my pretty much I've been running the Fridays. It's the achievements, Great Hunt for the achievements. So that's the basically we are trying to do and gather all of the achievements, focusing first, of course, on the achievements which will give you the mastery points, because you will need a lot of mastery points on all the expansions. And then we are just doing the whatever the people require and want to do, as there are a lot of to do, and I'm happy to get the new expansion and get the new achievements to the list. And then, of course, we have the Sunday event, which just ended just before the summer festival. So it's pretty much level 80 maps all over the expansions and also the Living World season maps. And it has a sort of rotation, and of course, always sometimes people request different maps. And now that last Sunday and this Sunday we did the Secret of Obscure maps because the bonus week was going on, so that people can get the special rewards. So I will try to keep eye on out those special weeks, but usually Caledon reminds me that you should be doing this map this instead of what I've told to people. So yeah. But yeah, it has been a long going event. Don't even remember when I started that from rags to riches.
Yeah, it's kind of a legacy event. It's part of the history now.
Yeah.
You've been going so long that you should not get any more achievement points, Mika.
Right.
He should have collected them all by now. I'm sure of it. All right. Well, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I said it was really worthwhile as well.
Yes, very much so.
I would like to point out there's also the Memory Fractal events on Tuesdays for new players.
It's a good time for those of you that like fractals. I recommend it.
Namri's a great teacher when it comes to fractals. He really explains what's going on and the best way to do it. And he'll even mention as if you get into higher level fractals, which is level 4, how they're done. So yeah, if anybody's never done fractals, Namri is the perfect person to do them with.
Oh.
And I've been holding that one for ages myself. I don't even know when I started mine. But yeah, everything goes also in slow pace, and I try to at least get the dailies out of the way for the people, so that you also get something out of it, because otherwise you get, of course, the experience on the fractals, but also a little bit of currency for the game. It's a win-win in that way. The downside, it is 5-man content, so it is doable in groups of 4, the lower ones, but yeah, it is. If I go with 2 groups, yeah, I always need to have someone else lead the second party. I cannot. It's impossible to lead 2 parties in 2 different instances.
All right. Well, we are going to progress on. Thank you all to the GW2 folks for joining me. We are going to go take a look at our next game in the lineup. All right, everybody. Conqueror's Blade has been going strong pretty much since the launch of Conqueror's Blade. We are on the Elysium Peak server, which is the America server. At this point, we are in the region of Longting. Last season, the Silas season, we built the very first Rank 7 village on Elysium Peak. We broke another record over there. We created a season-long storytelling in the Hibernia Legends channel. If you have the CB Hibernia rank, you'll be able to see the CB Legends. And all of our stories getting put in there. So each season I'm creating a new story, new format. It's been a lot of fun. We began creating parody videos to add some humor to things, and they've gone over quite well. People come out in droves to go see those. Then we started doing our war plans with a twist. I've been throwing in a little bit of comedy, a little kind of keeping it light and friendly and humorous. It's been fun. And then we focused on economic growth. Last season, we brought in 12,279,143 silver between our 2 houses. Quite a big little nest egg, more than we would have gotten if we had towns. So we started the season swinging, fighting several large houses before they finally gave up and left. We held our ground the entire season and did not budge from our territory. We fought some of the biggest dogs in the yard and still managed to maintain. Surprisingly, everything went exactly according to plan. Like literally, before the season started, I laid out the plan. This day we're going to do this. This day we're going to do that. This day we're going to do that, and everything lined up exactly perfect, which was crazy. I've never seen a plan come together so well. I think Hannibal from the 18 would have been very, very happy. Definitely went better than expected. Now this season we have chariots to worry about. This is the terracotta season. You saw the intro video. We are securing the horse farms in northern Longting. Our story is continuing with the next chapter being written. Our new war playing style is getting a little more action oriented. It's kind of cool. I'm also doing post-battle recaps and turning those into a continuous story, actually into chapters, which is kind of cool. So if you're into role-playing, it's kind of nice. I highlight the best performers of the night. So there's this little war report that comes to you at the end of the war, tells you how well you performed. I'm taking the top candidates and actually weaving them into the story. And then I'm also making some songs out of those stories. So I'm taking those stories, turning them into songs, and then putting them up on the Discord for people to download and enjoy. So far this season, we've had some intense fights with No Evil, Cohorts, Bastarius, and Brazil. It's been pretty interesting watching our little corner over the past few weeks. Now, as we are going to open up the floor for Conqueror's Blade players, feel free to mute Twitch and hop on back over into Discord. And we will open the floor for anyone to discuss. All right. 15 seconds later, people unmute. Coneth, what do you think of Conqueror's Blade? No way. Coneth doesn't have anything to say. Oh,
sorry, I was on. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. I was going to say, come on, there's no way.
I am loving it. I'm so annoyed with myself for not sticking with it from the very beginning, because it is pretty much everything I want in a PvP game. And I normally don't play PvP, but this is it's just a tremendous amount of fun, and I find myself looking forward every day after work to being able to get on and do sieges. You could just it's just a huge amount of fun.
I absolutely agree. Now, I do have a special friend here, Agnard. You want to tell us about your CB experience? I love having you as my wingman, and I'm really proud of you and the work that you're putting in. And I think everyone should get to know Agnard. He's a legend among the Gaiscioch. So, Agnard, say hi.
Hi. I just thank Fogg for all the opportunities he's given me, considering that I'm probably the senior member of our group, and I enjoy it. There's a lot that I still have to learn, but I'm doing my best, and one of these days I'm going to actually learn how to make my horses go backward and forward without getting them killed.
This will happen. Don't worry. All right, and I do see Zugi Zorik. He is one of our major shot callers for the Gaiscioch. Zugi, you want to say hi and tell us what you think about the game?
Howdy, yeah, I've been playing CB since mid-season 3, and it's been a blast. I mean, there's the game has had some has had upsides and downsides, but I think overall it's evened out, and by and large the devs actually listen to the community. May take them a season or two before for them to listen on some things, but they always come around. And one thing I wanted to touch on is that Fog, you mentioned yesterday that we've got a lot of siege battle competitors coming up on the horizon. As far as I'm concerned, competition is always good, because this is going to really, I think, force the developers to to see different ways of taking the siege genre. So they're definitely trying something different this season. It's been hit or miss. But I'm really hoping that the siege competitors on the horizon is just going to it's just going to come back to CB. The CB developers are going to see the new things, and they're going to keep experimenting with things, and they're going to keep things fresh.
And that's one of my biggest hopes too. Is when you're in any market in this world and you have no competition, there's no reason to innovate. There's no drive. Like if as a person who's been in an environment like that, like it's hard to push yourself further when nobody is competing against you to help you climb further. When there's healthy competition, people will try harder. They'll innovate. They'll do more. They won't be able to stay stagnant. If you stay stagnant, you end up like Hollywood Video or Blockbuster Video. You get reinvented. Borders Books. If you fail to adapt, you die. So if there is competition in this industry and there are people coming up and challenging your position as the kingpin of siege warfare, they're going to be forced to innovate or die. So I really kind of look forward to this horizon and seeing how they adapt to this and decide to step up instead of just coasting.
Yeah, and like you've mentioned over and over again, there just is not anything like CB on there that combines the level of hero play, strategic play, unit play, tactical, all the way from macro to micro. There's always so much stuff to learn, which we're always trying to help people learn, but it's so much, but there just really isn't anything else at this level of depth.
Indeed. And as a community game, it's really good. I mean, we had to open up 2 Gaisciochs to be able to house everybody. Both of our rosters are pretty much sitting at 98 or 99 out of 100. And we have people pending in both that I'm watching and trying to get in contact with, giving priority to the people that will actually join us in Discord. There's a lot of people that try to join the community that have no interest in actually participating with the community. They just want to be part of a guild so they can do things that require a guild. But it's really kind of hard. There's like their interface that you have doesn't allow you to just click on their name and message them. You literally have to memorize their name, go to your friends list, add them to your friends list so that it says the little message that they're a friend, and then click on their name so that you can send them a message that way. And they'll only get it if they're online. Otherwise, it's just message to cyberspace. So it's a bit cumbersome on that front. I'm kind of hoping that I can influence a little change on that front. But I think overall, CB is in a really good place, and they are definitely the kingpin of siege warfare right now. I don't think there's a single game out there that can even compare. And I've played a lot of siege warfare games. I got my birth into MMOs playing siege warfare games. So it's, as a person who enjoys that style of play, I can tell you that hands down this is the best of the best. There's a lot of games coming on the horizon, so I'll let you know if something could potentially replace it, but I don't think that there is anything that really compares. Alright, does anyone else have anything that they would like to say about CB before we move on? I know Pedro and Izzy and Dawn all play as well.
I got setting fans on me, so I'm not going to talk too much.
Warshaw's here as well. Warshaw's been playing pretty much from the get-go. Alright, well, we will move along then. Go ahead and mute Discord again and head back over to Twitch or YouTube, and we will continue on.
I have a dream. It starts in the desert. You're alone. Dying. Friendless. You cling to life.
The desert wants you dead, Foghladha. If the sands don't take you, the storms will swallow you whole. In every danger, there is opportunity. a foundation of something greater. A power waiting to be harnessed. Desert power. Master Arrakis, and it will open your mind. This is your path to awakening.
Alright, so Dune Awakening. This is a game that I personally am not playing, and I tried to pull together as much good information as I could. So it did launch on June 10th, 2025. The console version, which I believe is going to have crossplay, is coming in 2026. There's been, the usual things. When a new game goes live in the MMO sphere, there's always cheaters. There's a massive amount of cheaters first couple months of the game, and the first big patches that you're going to see in the major activity you're going to see is them banning cheaters. Because this is, you never really know until you go live, and then you know. So they have been taking out cheating and exploiting and banning people for it. They disabled the Steam family sharing because of an exploit that they found. They plan on re-enabling it next year or later in the 2025. There's been a lot of developer action banning the hundreds of cheaters that have been hitting it. And there was a currency exploit just like they had in New World. You remember that? So they big sweeping bans going across. There has been a bunch of hotfixes, patches, and quality of life improvements since it was deployed. The Deep Desert expansion, more rock islands added to the Deep Desert for resources and base building. Then there has been some community frustration about the cheating issues that have led to mixed Steam reviews. I think that probably will turn around in the next 3 months as they kind of get their hands on the matter and can convert that and really kind of lock down that aspect of the game. I think once that's streamlined and they start adding some more content to the end game, I think a lot of those bad Steam reviews will disappear. The core gameplay is open world survival MMO set in Arrakis. You guys know Arrakis from the Dune books, TV shows, movies. It's pretty much the inspiration behind Star Wars. So base building and combined arms. I know I'm probably going to be hated for saying that, but I'm sorry. If you watched Dune and you read Dune, you know. you know. You can't deny it. Then monetization. It's buy to play with an additional paid DLCs, no subscription. So, a lot of stuff coming to the Dune world. We're going to go ahead and jump over into Discord and go ahead and let the people that are playing it talk about it. All right, Discord, go ahead and unmute yourself and then mute Twitch. And let us know what you think about Dune. We have a few people here that play. Trithian, you played a bit. You want to talk about it?
Yeah, I can talk about it a little bit. Currently, we are running 2 guilds in this. We have our main guild that is, I just checked, we have 1 empty slot, and we have 2 people that we can rotate out to rotate 2 more in from the second guild. The first guild does do some of the Landsrad stuff, which is part of the endgame content. So there are objectives to complete. It releases 5 a day, each day at a certain time. That has made it somewhat difficult for some people, because if you are not on at that exact time when it launches those, they can be completed really quickly, locking you out from doing a turn-in to try to get the participation awards for them. And there's been a lot of feedback provided to Funcom about that, so we'll see if that ever gets changed. We have a few people who are now actively in the Deep Desert, in the PvE and PvP areas of the Deep Desert, trying to get resources. We have our server's been moderate up until recently, and actually very friendly. Like, we have had a very easy time for the first few weeks of the game. in the PvP area with no PvP. But there are now people out there actively grouped up and attacking. So it's become a little more dangerous in our PvP zones to get the good resources in the endgame area. We don't have any active scheduled events anymore. I was doing a couple, but they were not getting participation very well, so I did remove those from the list. But we do, if you check on Discord randomly throughout the day, you could see anywhere from like 3 to 8 people in a channel all playing Dune together. They group up and go do things. We have a few people who are helping those who have just started playing get their class quests done to unlock all the extra skills and leveling up the skills, or helping people get their first bike or ornithopter to travel around the world faster. There's been a lot of helpful people in there.
All right. Does anyone else want to say anything about Dune while we're here? Sir Henry, I can't hear you. I see you lighting up, though.
Well, it'll be helpful if I unmute my mic.
There you go. Now we got your beautiful voice.
So I'm the other elder of the Dune group. There's actually a third, Izzy Ismani, if I'm pronouncing her name right. She runs the secondary guild. I'm not sure the activity on that one. We do have, I checked today, 27 members that logged in and played, I guess, at least 5 minutes, I guess, in the last week, 27 out of 31. And the 4 members that were on in the like 8 or 9 days. So I kind of took them out just in case. So we do have a lot of activity. We do, like he said, we have 1 space open. So if the first person says, "Hey, I'm ready to join," I will take it. We do have a couple people who are going to said they were going to switch their Harkonnens. They're going to, I guess, betray and then and they have to finish the betrayal before they could join the guild. we're a tradies guild, so we do have a lot of people playing, but not everyone logs in Discord. So there's a little bit, So if you don't see anyone on Discord, when you log into Dune, just go and say hello, and then people usually notice the chat. The chat only lasts about 10 to 15 seconds, and then they respond to you. And then you could say you're in Discord, and some would pop in. Otherwise, I mean, there's people that do the Deep Desert. They help out and everything else. I'm pretty noobish in a sense. I'm only level 50. There's 200 levels, and I really are in the early stages of the game, of the questing and stuff. There's a lot of quests. There's a lot of content, a lot of dungeons and other things. There's trials, puzzles, and stuff, and everything else. So if you like PvE, there's a lot of content early on. I don't know how many hours. I think there was estimated between 100 hours of questing and whatnot. I can't confirm that. But I played 56 hours, and I'm still in the early stages. I don't even have a base, so I didn't spend time building or anything else. That's my usual thing, is building, but I didn't get that far in that either. So I've been sharing a base with Vicious Gnome. I think that's about it. Yeah, I'm not running any events because the event leader dying or don't know what he's doing is not a good idea.
Well, what are you talking about? That's me.
Well, yeah, I'm jumping off cliffs. That I don't count that.
I'm always dying.
I would agree. There's probably about 100 hours in the initial storyline that's playable, and the story is great. If you like the Dune universe, it is a really great run through for the first part. There's not much story in the end game content, and hopefully they'll add to that. There's a question on Twitch real quick though. Bulldog asked if the end game PvP is still just people using ornithopters to kill each other, and it pretty much is. There is not a lot of on foot PvP in the game unless you are in one of the PvP spaceships. It's the only place that you'll actually encounter on foot PvP. If you're out in the world trying to gather resources, 6 people show up on ornithopters and just shoot you with missiles over and over and over again until you either flee or die. It is very unfortunate that the PvP is scaled that way, and they have been trying to fix that, and they've done some stuff to adjust to it, but it is still very much vehicle PvP.
Yeah, they did. I mean, grant you, I really haven't been in the Deep Desert, but the Deep Desert's 50% PvE now and 50% PvP. So you could half the world of the Deep Desert avoid PvP. There are some things I think it's only in the PvP thing, so that would get a little,
They fixed that. The end game resources are in some of the new spots that were released for PvE instead of PvP, so you can get the N2 final resources to craft stuff, but they are in much smaller quantities, like 1 or 2 nodes on like little island outcrop areas. So it takes a lot longer to gather the resources versus going into the PvP area and getting thousands of it at a time.
Yeah, so there's, you just have to work harder if you want to avoid it, or you just have to work with other groups, or there's certain times that no one's doing any harm, whatever. So I know like Vicious and a few others are like doing it, do the Deep Desert at certain times because they could avoid all that. I watch like Vicious fly through and harvest a lot of stuff, so it gets very far without being attacked. I've never seen him being attacked, so but yeah, the potential there is that's the bad thing about the game is that the game compared to other games, I guess this has like 6 classes, so you could mix and match, but they have the mentats, they have the sword masters, the trooper. I forgot what the sisters are called. And there's the planetologist and so on and so forth. So you could make a character unique to whatever you want. You could revamp your character every 2 days if you don't like your stuff. And crafting is pretty cool. They made it the better end of Conan Exiles at the end because they did the construction hammer and things instantly pop, or you could just instantly remove them and stuff like that. So they seem to take in a lot of the good steps from their previous games and added to here. There's a lot of cutscenes from like Age of Conan. So I think they took the good knowledge of the games. The PvP aspect, I haven't been in PvP, so I can't comment on that, but that's something they have to work on. I always see games with PvE and PvP. This goes with ESO, Star Wars The Old Republic, Star Wars Galaxies, in Dark Age of Camelot. When you have a combination of both, there's always some issues with trying to get it to work properly. When a game is only PvP, seems to have less issues, but games with combo, that's the nature of the beast, balance issues and whatnot. So if you like survival games, this is a very good survival game. I'm enjoying it, and I played a lot of survival games. The only survival aspect is only water. You don't have to worry about food and the water, and once you have a jug or whatever they call it, liter John or whatever it's called, water's not that as important. Initially, like every start of the game, you're going to be starving or drinking, thirsty or whatever. And this game's only thirsty, and it's mainly due to the heat. So if you're out in the hot sun, you start getting thirstier faster. So I guess that's pretty much the game. The game is huge, and this is Unreal 5, so the graphics are very high end, and the map. The Deep Desert is like 600 square kilometers. That's huge because, if you think of Unreal 4, 64 square kilometers is the standard map. And then the PvE aspect, not the Deep Desert area, is 64 square kilometers. Basically, it's a full Unreal 4 map. Plus, it has cities and other things on top of it that's off the map. So. Okay, if you have any other questions, you can ask me or Trith. Trith probably answers more because he has more knowledge about the game than I do.
Sounds good, guys. All right, before we go into our major MMOs that are coming up, We want to give some airtime to anyone that is leading events in any of our other warbands. So, we do have some people still playing Throne of Liberty. We have Guild Wars events on the calendars. Gma Fog has started a Pirate 101 group and is doing that regularly. We have Kitty and Deep Rock Galactic doing stuff, and Valheim is still on the charts. So, does anyone have anything that they would like to say about any of these?
Well, I was going to say about the Guild Wars on the Guild Wars 2, but yeah, we have been running the Guild Wars 1 event on Saturdays. Probably will be switching some other day. Basically, we are trying to do all the stuff so that you can get the Hall of Monument rewards on the Guild Wars 2. And pretty much requirement to join us is just that, well, you need to own all the game, and then we are going to look where you are at the game, and then we just do the runs all over the place, try to get the stories done and the titles and everything else which is required for the Hall of Monument points. So you can poke me if you are interested to do the Guild Wars 1 stuff. And yeah, only downside is that certain places and everything else. So it even the highest areas, it's the max 8 players in a group, and lowest 2 players when you are in pre-searing. So there will be, if we get a lot of people, we need to have multiple groups then.
Yep. Sounds like fun. Guild Wars was definitely one of the key games in my MMO history. When I went through a layoff, that was the game that I played most. So it definitely has fond memories in my book.
Yeah.
I think somebody else was trying to say something, but that may have been Kitty, and I think Kitty just left. So, gonna go get food. Alright, well, let's go ahead and continue back on. So go ahead and mute Discord and head back over to Twitch, and we will go on to the next big game. The next 4 games are games that will probably have the potential to become a chapter. So
I saw my world fall to ash, consumed by the void. Try as I might to quell their advance, 'twas all for naught. Some say time stops for no one. Neither man nor God, living nor dead. Yet what then of those who deigned to turn back the hands of fate? To save what remains of our broken worlds, you need only take my hand. Return to the past, where your journey awaits.
Alright, Chrono Odyssey is one that we've been watching for a while. We've been helping them do their testing. We've been involved in several of their tests. The global release window is sometime Q4 2025. My guess is it's probably going to get bumped to 2026. We will see, though. It's going to be on PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series X and S. The recent feedback from the players on this most recent test wasn't the greatest. I think that they changed something, because it used to play better and now it's playing less as good. So I'm thinking they tried to do an upgrade on Unreal and it didn't take very well. So I'm guessing all that is going to get polished up. So definitely, if you participated, send them your feedback. I know for a fact that it has played better in the past, so I think that this was merely we tried to upgrade something and it didn't quite work as well as we hoped. So I think that they might probably roll it back or adapt it and fix whatever the problem was. There's a lot of gameplay walkthroughs and trailers out there from the Summer Games Fest in 2025. A lot of people did some video recording and showed things, some of the massive boss fights. The nice thing about Chrono Odyssey is it plays a lot like Guild Wars 2 or New World in the fact that there's a large open world that you can explore. There's crafting, there's small scale story stuff, there's the casual PvE stuff, then there's like boss fights, and you can go out there and find these massive creatures and go fight them. And each of them has their own mechanics, and it's a lot of fun. There is, the PvPvE stuff, which is going to be very similar, I think, to New World in that sense, where you can take over a city and then govern the city. Should be a lot of fun on that front. I'm not sure how much of that we're going to experience as a community, but we'll probably take a shot at it or two, or maybe help Merc with some other group. And then, it's definitely a hybrid class game where they have it's not the tank, healer, DPS style roles. There's more of a hybrid role, kind of like Guild Wars 2 was originally. And then the time manipulation is a core mechanic. It's going to be pretty interesting to get the hang of that and playing with it. I'm going to open up the floor now, so head on over to Discord. And anyone that wants to talk about Chrono Odyssey, please feel free. If you want to share your experiences with the most recent test, feel free. Please, any of you that have signed an NDA, do not talk about stuff that you've seen behind the NDA. I don't want any leaks. But for those of you that played the public test, you're more than welcome to talk about that. Or maybe if you're just excited about Chrono Odyssey, that might be good. So mute your Twitch, unmute your Discord, and let's go ahead and talk about Chrono Odyssey.
First up, I would like to say that they have been really responsive to accessibility feedback. I was one of the ones that mentioned that the vertigo issues were hardly non-existent in some of our first tests, and it got incredibly worse in a different one. But in the latest one, it did improve. They have fixed some of that stuff, and they actually followed up with me on the feedback that I had provided and how it had changed for the better or worse, or what was going on. So I really like that. I appreciate the fact that they are concerned about accessibility issues, and not just vertigo issues, like all the different accessibility issues.
Indeed. This is actually, as development teams, Gaiscioch has been involved in kind of developer relations and working with them in the back end even before people even know about the games for a very long time. And this crew is actually one of the most responsive crews I've ever worked with. You literally have some direct communication with developers, and they listen and then they adapt and they deploy. So we've seen a lot of improvements that we suggested. I'm hoping that we can still see some room for improvement in those guild sizes, but we'll see. We can be hopeful. But I think overall it's moving in the right direction. I think it's got some polishing to do, and I don't know that they're going to hit their Q4 plans. I think that it's going to be bumped to 2026, but we'll see.
Can't say much, but I can say this because I didn't play in the closed beta, so I can't really talk about anything. But visually, what you see in the video is what you see in the game.
Yeah, it is very much a breathtaking game. Like I love the art direction. I think that the videos make it out to be a lot darker than it actually is. It's actually a very bright and colorful world. But I think that the videos to set the tone and the despair, they're going really dark on it. But it has a very unique art style compared to other games, and I think it's really works for this game.
The one thing I will say in addition to that, I thought it was a really interesting title. I did have fun when I was playing. I think they're going to struggle some with adapting to the level of difficulty they want and achieving a balance. Just be patient and give it a little time if it's not quite what you want. Their close to test group was very much the hardcore gamer types for the most part. So just be aware that it may take a little time for them to go, hey, this isn't quite working with some of these bosses being as difficult as they may be at the start.
And Pedro, I know that you're mentioned on Twitch that you're spoiled with gathering nodes of GW2. One of the major reasons why games don't typically do that is because it sends the economy into the tank. When you have a game like World of Warcraft where the nodes are individual, the resources have value. When everybody on the server can farm their own, look at the prices for resources on Guild Wars 2. Anything you can farm is literally not worth a darn thing. Like, it's pennies. If you look at a game like WoW, you can turn around and sell copper for like 30 copper or whatnot. It actually has a value. Like, you can make, like, in WoW, I literally made 1 million gold selling copper. Like, it's a totally doable thing. If you want to be a copper miner, you can be that. But when everybody can farm it, it literally loses its value on the market. So if you're going to build a healthy economy, it's better to have resources that are limited and have value. So that's why a lot of games don't do that. And that's one of the things that even the Guild Wars 2 developers said was really hard to balance early on, was the fact that, the resource economy totally tanked because they were so easy to get. They had to introduce new resources that weren't acquired that way to make some value to them. All right, does anyone have anything else they want to say about Chrono Odyssey before we move it along?
I'll add that I really enjoyed the gathering and the crafting aspect in the latest tests. The gathering nodes currently respawn incredibly quickly, even the higher tier nodes that were available. But you can also get like tier 2, 3 stuff really early on, so I feel like it was a little too fast, and hope they spread that kind of stuff out.
Indeed. And they are still committed to the no pay to win, so we're crossing our fingers there. As I've said before, pay to win is a very kind of subjective term. I think that everyone has their own definition. I don't know that there's a standard for this is what this means, but people love to throw it out there. But they are still trying to make sure that you can't pay for a distinct advantage over anyone else. So.
Just a quick question.
Sure.
Is it still open for testers?
Right now, it's pretty much whenever they're doing it, it's now open. So you go to Steam and you can request access, and then whenever they do a test, they'll grant you access. So.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's no longer something that you have to come to me and apply to. They now have it all configured on Steam to do it that way. All right, let's go ahead and move along. We're going to mute Discord and turn back on Twitch, and we'll proceed.
So, how did it feel to learn the truth about the night sky tragedy? Long ago, you humans slaughtered each other until the whole world lay in ruins. And yet, you have been granted another chance in Auroria. It must be the will of your beloved Mother Goddess. However, I still have no trust in your kind. Prove yourself. If you survive this trial, you might become one of us.
All right, Arcade Chronicles is the next chapter in the Arcade line. Now, as many of you guys remember, we tried the original Arcade. It didn't last very long with our community. We pretty much flash fired that last, I think, 3 months before people gave up on it. The second Arcade here is aiming to be a PvE focused game instead of a PvP. So it's doing a pretty large shift away from the RVR and PvP side of things and going more to a PvE style. So we're going to have to see what that's all about. They are doing a closed beta test in Q3 of 2025, possibly later. So we're going to hopefully see some more stuff there. We have had some people involved in testing. Can't really tell you too much about it, but we have been in contact with the developers, and we have our prongs in there and trying to shape it in the right way. So hopefully we get a good quality interaction with them and can steer the ship correctly. So it's looking to be released sometime in 2026, the first half. So we will see when that is. Hopefully we get some news on that by the end of the year, and we can stick it up on the calendar and try to build some hype for it and see who wants to go. So we do have this one on our adventure system, so you can go to gsch.info/G/AA2, and that will get you over to the page for there. Sign up for it. Let us know that you want to play it. Always helpful for us forecasting. So let's go ahead and go over to Discord, and we'll open up the floor and let you guys discuss what you think about Arcade Chronicles. All right, go ahead and mute Twitch, unmute Discord. Anyone excited about Arcade Chronicles? Planning on playing? What do you like that you see?
I'm really hoping that it's something similar to the first one, but better without the PvP madness. I think the farming and gathering that they had was fantastic. Hopefully they can duplicate and improve it in this one.
Yeah, I'm hoping. Go ahead.
I did see. I was going to say I did see a video where somebody compared the videos that are already out there about it to the original, and like Pedro was saying, hopefully some of the systems from the first one will come over to the second one.
Yeah, my big hope is that with the crafting system, it's a little less confusing. I'm hoping that they streamline it a bit, because I found the first one was like totally drinking water from a fire hose. Like, it was so much information. It was a little much. So I'm hoping they simplify it a bit. I know in my experience with gamers today, they do not want to take the time to read everything. So a system like the first Arcade is not going to go over well with the modern gamer who doesn't want to take the time. So I'm hoping they simplify it, streamline it, and make it a little easier on that front.
Yeah, I've never played the first one, so I don't have anything to base it on.
You literally open up a book, and it's a codex of like a million freaking resources and crafting things, and you got to craft this piece to craft that piece to craft that piece to craft that piece. It literally shattered my mind when I was thinking of trying to build a marketplace for it.
At least it told you how to get things done without you having to Google everything or wait until someone created, a page with everything for it.
Yeah.
It was good in that aspect. The ship driving, maneuvering, the underwater, it was fantastic. I don't think any pirate game has done a better job at ship maneuvering like they did. Hopefully they'll do that in here without the PvP. I'm assuming hopefully they'll do PvE, NPC based pirate ships that you have to avoid, things like that. Battles,
Yeah.
who knows?
Well, the nice thing is I think that they're taking all the RVR and PvP stuff and sticking it in an instance area instead of being an open world type of thing. So I think it'll be much more friendly to the PvEer. And also still have stuff for the PvPer if that's what they choose to do. It's just going to be in an environment where everyone's consented to be in PvP environment. So I think overall it's going to be fun.
Hopefully they follow
I'm
the.
hoping they don't have the land rush, land crab, can't get a house thing.
Yeah, that was rough.
Yep.
And then when server merges happen, I remember just the amount of frustration there because people had lost their houses, and it was a nightmare.
You know, I was headed on my server because I had 3 land farms and 3 underwater farms, and people had no farms, had no land. Sorry.
Yep.
Hopefully they learn from NCSoft when they developed Guild Wars 2 way back then, that an Asian company can make good PvE game with instance PvP game, and make it a massive PvP map, not just a little, 10v10, 12v12, make it a massive PvP area with castle, siege, etc. So, it attracts not only the quick instance, but the big PvPers as well.
Yep. There's something about having a literal siege campaign, and there's something about it. It's just fantastic. You just gotta, having that open area where you can do open RVR. That's the best, and I think every game should try to do something of that nature. All right. Any last comments about Arcade Chronicles before we move along? All right, let's go ahead and mute up Discord and head back over to Twitch or YouTube, and we will continue on out. All right, Aeon 2. We played Aeon 1. That was our first real experience with an adventure, or as we used to call it, a sager. And didn't go so well because half our community wanted to go to the Asmodean and half of them wanted to go to Helios, and they all went different directions, and then all hell broke loose. It was pretty rough. But we really liked Aeon. It was really good up until you got to the PvP territory, in which case you just got griefed in the dirt. I think that put it to a premature end for us. Nice thing is Aeon 2 is looking a lot different than that. So let's look at this really quick. I got a couple slides for this one because there's a lot of content. Now, I will, full disclaimer, most of the content I found was in Korean. So I used Google to help me translate. So I'm hoping it's right. It might be wrong. So, full disclaimer, I'm not always right. I will say that now. All right, so the release date was a soft launch planned for Korea in 2025, late 2025. Then they're planning a rollout globally mid-2026. The game is set 200 years after the fall of the Tower of Aeon, in a devastated world where the Devas have lost their power. The iconic Helios and Asmodean factions return through their conflict though their conflict will be structured differently than the original. They will play on separate servers, with PvP occurring in structured matchmaking and dimensional invasion events rather than the open world battles that we had in the first one. This is a good thing, because you can actually quest in peace now and not have to worry about a whole string of assassins just sitting there waiting for you to come turn in your quest. That was the most game-breaking feature of the first one, and I'm really glad that they decided to fix that this time. Alright. I told you. A lot of stuff. Okay, now I'm hoping this is right. So, the open vast world is 36 times larger than the original, and they're taking off the rails. You know how in the first one you couldn't always fly? Like certain zones you couldn't fly? Well, now they're saying you can fly anywhere. So they're letting you fly on land, they're letting you fly over the sea, they're letting you fly anywhere, and they're letting you dive down. Like in the first one, you couldn't swim. This one, you can go underwater now. So the world is not only up, but it's also down. So you're going to have underwater exploration, above water exploration, in the sky. It's going to be all over the place. It's crazy. So the flying mechanic has been significantly improved, apparently, allowing players to explore anywhere. And from what I've seen on some of the YouTube videos, it actually feels a lot better. So the classes, I'm not sure if this is the names these were translated, so I'm hoping I got them right. But the Gladiator is a sub-tank. It's lifesteal and AoE. Templar is the main tank with a shield defensive. The Assassin is stealth and precision. Ranger is long-range DPS. Spirit Master has solo combat with summoned spirits. The Sorcerer is explosive damage. Cleric is the main healer and has improved damage than over the previous incantation. And then Chanter is a hybrid support healing utility build. There's a lot of character customization. 200 individual features that you could finally tune. So get ready to spend a lot of time in that character creator. You can do things like your chibis and the big head body types, you know. There will be a lot of mounts, and apparently you'll be collecting them fragments that are dropped from monsters in the open world rather than through a cash shop. So you're not going to have to pay money for it. You can literally go collect them if you want. Now the combat system is both action focused. There is no auto combat, no auto pathing, and no auto play. You will see a lot of people claiming that it has that. What they're seeing is that the original Aeon 2 that they were producing was going to be a pure mobile game. And that did have those things. They decided to scrap that project and turn it into Aeon 2 for PC, which has none of those things. So if you see anything with autoplay, that is from the old version that was like, I think 3 years ago, when it was a mobile game. So they scrapped that and turned it into a PC game. Now, there is going to be an optional mobile client with its own interface and design, which is built to be a companion experience. It's in addition to the game. They're supposed to have like a mini game that you can play on the side of it. So we don't know what that's going to look like yet, but it is not the same thing as the PC version. It's going to introduce rear hit detection so that you can, not in the old game. You used to be able to, you would attack things and you would occasionally critical hit. Well, this one, if you're attacking from the rear, you're going to be critical hitting more. So, directional attacks are going to be important. Players can choose between action mode and classic mode, so you can do tab targeting, or you can do the action mode, which is like pretty much exactly like Guild Wars 2. Guild Wars 2 has the classic mode and then the action mode. So you can choose your technique there. Now, PvE content, there's over 200 dungeons planned, including solo instances, 4-player and 8-player group dungeons. There's the Temper of Fire that's coming back and is getting reimagined. There's the easy mode dungeons, so that newcomers can get through them and do their questing. And then there's mid-dungeon replacement. So like when a party member disconnects or says, "Screw you guys, I'm going home," you can get somebody else to jump in and finish that dungeon. Stretching weapons, I am not sure entirely what they mean by this, but this classic feature where weapons dramatically increase in range returns, and it will be now be available to melee and range classes. So I've never experienced that. I couldn't really put a pin in what that is, but it's probably a bad translation. I don't know. Like, I'm just thinking like a foam sword that just gets stretched out and is bigger. I don't know. So it could be interesting. So, all right, like the halberd could extend like a chain and yank in. Okay. So thank you, Pedro, for explaining that. Yeah, I was really confused by that. I'm like, what are they talking about stretching weapons? Are you like yanking on your weapon and make it longer? I don't know. So let's go ahead and open up the floor. Head on over to Discord, discord.gg discord.gg/GSCH. I think it's also discord.com/GSCH too now. All right, let's go ahead and open up. All right, anybody on Discord have anything they would like to say about Aeon 2? Anything that you've seen out there? Anything that's interesting? Are you excited?
It looks good.
It seems like a lot of these games is, I guess they use Unreal Engine 5. They all look really, really good.
Yeah, it's hard not to look good in Unreal 5, honestly.
Yeah. And it looks like I can do content in that one too.
I mean, I'll try it.
I mean, by everything that you just listed, that may have just jumped into my top 3 expected MMOs.
Yeah, I mean, it's the reason it's definitely on my list is because my wife loved Aeon. Like that was her jam up until the point that she started getting griefed. So for her to be able to play this game again and not be griefed, I think she's gonna absolutely love it. So really looking forward to that coming around, and I think it's definitely in a good place.
Hopefully it does not come on Steam, so they can actually have some control over the bots.
I have concerns about like 200 dungeons planned and things like that. It sounds like they may be going like the auto generation route or something.
It could very well be, or it could be the fact that they've technically been developing the game for about 7-8 years now, because like the first version, they basically went back to the drawing board to turn it into a PC game when the mobile market started drying up.
Also, if you think about it, they're saying solo instances 4 players and 8 players, and possibly also raids. And if you have 2 or 3 solo instances and 4 players raids per zone, and you have multiple zones, then technically speaking, the numbers will start adding up.
Yeah. We shall see. And, developers are starting to make use of AI a lot more, which is, in like Kinfall's example, I don't know how many of you guys have tried Kinfall, but that world, if you think about it, like I think 8 people made that game using AI, and it is a massive world with a ton of content. Like it's got more features than most modern MMOs, and that was just 8 guys and some AI. It's pretty incredible to see what they can do when they tap into the power of the technology.
Yeah, I'm excited to see actually what happens with that one when they actually get things a little bit more developed.
Indeed.
I'm hoping they learn from their mistake in Aeon 1 and don't allow players to put their store to sell stuff and take the spot in the queue on the server.
Yeah, agreed.
That was a massive bottleneck.
Yep. Yeah, some lessons are learned the hard way in life, and I think that was one of theirs.
I just wish it wasn't a class based and was kind of like the other weapon based games where I could just switch the weapon and switch my class at the same time and not have to have 10 alts.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it says Templar, main tank, shield, defensive, but it doesn't say sword. It could be sword, mace, axe, or something else. It could be a magical shield, not an actual physical shield. Gladiator
And granted, those were just translations, so
right.
I don't know if that's what they're actually going to be called or not.
Yeah, but it still looks like it's a class system and not like something you can just switch from one to another.
Well, I mean, Guild Wars 2 has classes. Guardian class, where the Guardian class can use multiple weapons, and Ranger, Master class.
Yeah, but you're still stuck in the role.
Right, but you can use different weapons and give you different abilities and different spells.
Yeah. I mean, really, it's going to take us being able to see it in play and start seeing some live streams and some YouTube videos made before we really have a firm understanding of how that all works.
Yes. The one thing that to point on Triton's comment is that it does have a holy trinity. You see cleric, main healer, you see main tank. So.
Yep.
Yeah. In all the searching you did you not find much on like a gathering and crafting?
I didn't. No. I mean, it's definitely going to be there, but I really didn't. Like, I was searching everything I could, like all the press releases, and like all the press releases were in Korean, so translating them all and then trying to decipher what pieces, it was kind of challenging. Yeah. I mean, I'll admit I used AI to kind of summarize it because it was a lot. But
being a nation game, yeah.
I mean, we'll see. I mean, I'm gonna keep following it. I'm gonna keep, like, if you notice in our Discord, there are 2 new channels in the news section. One is for MMO news and the other is for co-op news. And I'm literally streaming the information directly from their Discord to those channels. So I'm going to, as soon as I got an Aeon 2 Discord that's in English, I'm going to stream it there, and I will continue to keep you guys updated on it, because it's definitely one of those I'm keeping a very close eye on.
Yeah, this is one that I'm very excited to see coming out. They're pretty much hitting all the bullet points that were wrong with first Aeon. So this might be the first MMO that NCSoft actually pulls off on a global acceptance scale.
We can hope. I mean, it's great IP.
The only other one they have is Guild Wars, the Guild Wars series, and they didn't actually even do that one. That was a subsidiary. So, I think they're on the right track. I've been following Aeon ever since it was a mobile game, this Aeon 2, and I was glad to see them pull that project back and take another look at it again. And I think they're learning lessons here. I think this is going to be a good one.
Yep. All right, guys. We're going to move along, and I will keep you apprised of all things Aeon 2 as we move forward. Let's go ahead and jump back over to Twitch.
We've been deadlocked for too long. This time we must break it unconventionally. Team 1, hold the front. Team 2, flank them. Team 3, cut off their supply routes.
This is Team 1, we've arrived. Copy that. Team 3 speaking. We are ready.
Here lies the no man's land, where greed and ambition thrive. Here stands the endless battlefield, where chances and risk arrive. This is the Athens, where a single decision tilts the scales of life and death.
For Warborn, I pulled an old trailer that was pretty cool, but we've been doing a lot of playing of Warborn. Like, we've been involved in the test for about a year now, And every time that it comes around, we're playing it. We've been part of the closed alpha, part of the beta, been doing a lot of the focus groups. It's been a lot of fun. Now, this is a game that I did not expect to like. Like, when I first was asked to come play it, I was like, oh man, open PvP. I'm going to hate this. You know, this sucks. And then I got in, and I'm like, well, this is pretty cool. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And then I realized that the hostile players, quote unquote, that you experience early on are literally just getting you used to the idea that there's going to be hostile players in the world. These are actually AIs, and they have a certain icon that you can tell them apart from other ones, and they have no like profile when you try to view them and see what their kill history is. They're literally robots there, designed to try to get you thinking about keeping your head on a swivel and expecting the unexpected, and always expect to try to get ganked. As soon as you start a boss fight, they're going to throw one at you, and you actually get PvP credit for killing these robots. It's a good way to start building up your PvP reputation, and you don't have to actually do PvP. And they always frequent the lower tier zones, so I think we're going to see quite a few higher end players farming those low tier zones for some easy kills. But the nice thing about the PvP in this game is that you draw, like in the newbie zones, you drop one item, and the item that you drop, you can go to the storefront, and literally it'll pop up right away, and you can buy it for like half the price that it costs. And the money that you use is literally pennies compared. It was like, even my top tier gear was super cheap to replace. Like, I almost feel it was too cheap to replace. So it's, even if you lose stuff, you're not out of it. You can literally go and buy that same stuff back and get it back. It's basically like repairing your armor of sorts. So it's not even that big of a deal. There is a lot of kind of building up your bases. You have your drift mark, which is like this walking AT-AT thing that you can set down, and it basically is your portable personal house. There's also a guild house version that has a bunch of upgraded features. The thing that's really cool about this game is you can expand your guild up to 300 characters. Like, this is the first MMO we've seen in a long time that is pushed past the 100 character mark to the 300 character mark. It's definitely something that we will be playing. How many people decide to join me is up in the air, but if you like games kind of like Smite, you're going to love this game. Like, this is literally like an MMO MOBA. It's plays just like it. I kind of get a V Rising feel too. If you've ever played V Rising, it has that kind of gameplay feel. So let's go ahead and jump over to Discord and open up the floor. I know a few of us have played it. Welcome everybody. Give you about a 15-second head start to start popping on over here. Let's see. Is Ismina still here? I think Ismina might have had to go. But Ismina actually plays this game with me, and she was enjoying it. So she's not exactly she don't exactly like PvP, but she even came over here and played it with me. Who do we got? Pedro, you've played this game. What do you think?
I think it's a Dark Age meets Planet Side 2 meets Guild Wars 2, but isometric type of game. Has a good balance of PvE and PvP. Of course, it's mostly PvP than PvE, but you can do your PvE pretty much stress-free for the most part. I do know that later up in the game, you really can't advance too much without going into the PvP stuff area. But, you know, up to that point, there's been a lot of fun, a lot of dungeons with the guild, a lot of guild coordination, even with small raids or small teams. The different classes, different weapons with different classes, different abilities. So you can change, and there's no such a thing as a cookie cutter spec. I had a lot of fun with it, to be honest, especially because I like isometric games personally.
Yeah, and I can tell you that the guild system is by far one of the better ones I've seen. It had a lot of guild quests and activities that you can work together on, and that was kind of cool to see. So as games go, I did not expect this game to have such a good community foundation. Like, this is built from the ground up for communities. So I really think that this will be something that we can potentially call home. I would not doubt if we end up getting a chapter here. And we are definitely going to be trying to take over some land when we launch into this thing. We are pretty well versed in it at this point. We've taken over pretty much every type of stronghold other than the main capital itself. And we will probably find a lot of our Conqueror's Blade friends over there and try to ally up with them and join the same faction as them to work together. I think it'll be a pretty good experience overall, and I think we'll have a lot of fun. And there is 6 factions, right? 6 factions?
Yes.
Yeah. All right, somebody else was starting to say something. Say what?
Oh, I was going to say, you could, like we did during the demo test, joined up with that one group.
Yep.
Because they were people that you knew from Conqueror's Blade.
Yeah, and the nice thing about this is in this game, whichever heroes you unlock, you can play, and you can add and hot swap too. So if you wanted to play a tank, you can play a tank for now, and then if you needed a healer, you can swap to your healer. There's a lot of interchangeability, and all you got to do is unlock the different drifters, and you would have access to them and can upgrade them and level them up.
Yeah, I was going to say for Fog, I avoid PvP like the plague, and I had fun playing that game.
Yeah, this was definitely my pleasant surprise of the year. Like, I did not expect to like this game, and I
you were
actually
just
loved
like
it.
all over it.
I played it quite a bit.
I didn't play a lot of it in the last test, but I do enjoy the fact that it does not wreck my vertigo.
Yeah, that is nice. All right, any last comments on Warborn Above Ashes? Yeah, I'm hoping the war times are a little better. You know, they promote the 24/7 war. I was kind of hoping it would be 24/7, where you can just go and attack stuff and it'd be organically shifting. But that makes it really hard to upgrade stuff, because you can't really defend something 24/7 in a game like Dark Age Camelot, unless your realm decides to defend it. There's always going to be kind of the high time and low time for your faction. So it's going to be interesting to see how they balance it. But their times I don't think I've ever seen their times line up the same. Like each test they change and people vote on them. And like last test, there wasn't a single war I was able to attend because they were so early.
You mean the capital siege?
No, that was just regular siege times. Like in the most recent test. They were like at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'm still at work at that time.
I saw the message that the war will start, I think, almost every 2 or 3 hours.
There's 2 wars per day, and usually it's like one, and then like 2 hours later there's another. So, but the last test that they did, it was too close together. Or too early in the day. The first test was perfect. It was actually later in the day, like 6 and then 8, which was nice. Whereas 5 and 8, I think. All right. Any other questions or comments, ideas? Let's go ahead and proceed to our next title in our little Siege Warfare segment here. Bellatorres is a new MMORPG coming out in Unreal 5, yet another beautiful looking game. There's going to be a heavy focus on house versus house warfare. It is going to be closed beta testing in South Korea starting in July 30th. So that will be hitting here pretty soon. So hopefully we'll see some more information coming live about it. Now, it is aimed at releasing globally sometime in 2026, 2027 timeframe. It is action combat, and weapon swapping is going to be a thing. I believe there is also stamina management that's going to be a thing. So you're not just going to spam every skill you got. You're going to have to time it and time your parries. It's going to be a pretty big skill-based system. Mastery-based progression is going to be tied to combat gathering, crafting, allowing players to specialize. And from what I hear in some of these developer interviews, you're not going to be able to do everything. So you're going to have to decide what you want to specialize in. And then the player-driven economy, crafted gear is going to be the primary gear from what I hear. Like, literally, it's going to be... Nothing is going to be better than crafted gear. So... crafting is definitely going to be a thing that you want to be a part of. Let's go up and open up Discord. Anyone have any thoughts or ideas about this before we move along to the next one?
I really like the idea of player crafted gear being the best one in the game. That's something that should be in every game.
Yeah, I like not having that be an afterthought where, you know, like several games that we played, the crafted gear is actually subpar from the raid gear. And the best gear in the game is actually your crafted gear.
This is one I want to try when it comes out.
Yeah, it's definitely something I'm going to keep an eye on, and we'll be playing it for sure.
I understand it's a PvP game, but this one actually was like, okay, I want to look at that one.
And as far as I know, I believe the PvP is still set to PvP areas. I don't believe it's open world, like you can go anywhere and kill anyone. I think it's you have factions.
Well, I like that better.
And you go to do the PvP in the PvP areas. So, I think a lot of games are kind of leaning that way these days.
Yeah, I think the key feature in this one to watch is going to be their how they design the siege warfare, because the way Korea does siege warfare is a lot different than what we would expect or what you would see in a Chinese game like Conqueror's Blade. So since it seems to be centered around that, I think I really need to see more on the siege warfare to develop a decent opinion.
Yeah, and I think we'll see more this fall. Like, I honestly think we'll see a lot more videos dropping, a lot more interviews. I believe there's one developer interview right now that has subtitles in English that was all Korean. That is fairly good, but a lot, like even in their trailers, they use English. A lot of their website is actually in English. So we know that they're planning to take it to the English market. We just, for their first iteration, is going South Korea. All right,
yes,
guys.
it'll be interesting to see.
Let's go ahead and continue. We got a lot to cover, and I've probably taken too long already. So let's go ahead and continue.
You were not born for war, not for blood, nor for glory. You were born to till the earth, to shape iron, to build a life from quiet things. But the world is fallen, and though it calls you to forget, your God calls you to remember. So shed your name, your home, your yesterday. Not for pride, not for vengeance, but for salvation, for God and God alone. And when you fall, and you will, let it not be in vain. Let all remember that you came willingly, that you bore your cross, that you had faith, even when faith was all you had left. What is a crusader, if not a servant who refuses to forget what he fights for the memory of who he was, and the hope of who he might still become? Now is the time to take up your cross, to answer the call, and fulfill your destiny.
Alright, folks. So, Lionhearts is a persistent, player-driven medieval sandbox set in the 12th century Third Crusade. Players can forge their destiny, leading armies, building trade empires, or rising through religious hierarchies in a world where every position of power is controlled by other players. Now, I have done quite a bit of research on this one, and I have to say it is curious. They have this system in place where you can be a warlord, a politician, or a religious clergy, and these three paths basically have to work together for the city to succeed, or for the territory to succeed, the kingdom to succeed. If they don't work together, they're going to fall apart. They can't do, like, each piece needs the other piece to succeed. So it's really interesting. There is a 18-minute, I believe it's 18-minute developer video. If you want to see gameplay, you can actually see real gameplay in their developer video. They walk you through the world and what they're envisioning, how things are made. You learn that this all started from a Roblox spin-off named Lionheart's Crusade. It was a full standalone release that they did. It was built on Roblox, and it went over so well. They got a bunch of people that wanted to work on it, and they put together the studio to put this together. Now, their Kickstarter, I actually personally kickstarted, was one of the Kickstarters on that one. It's one of the few that I've invested in, but I really like the idea that they're doing, and they're sticking a whole lot of history in it. The people are very passionate about the Third Crusade history. So they're looking to do that. There is 12 player-run factions or kingdoms. So it's not just, one faction of players pushing the Crusades. It's literally 13 different factions. There's even a Scottish faction, I believe. There's Germans. There's a lot of different factions involved. So they're paying a lot of attention to history, and there could potentially be more factions as time moves on. So it should be really interesting to kind of see. So let's go ahead and open up the chat really quick. We're going to spend probably about 3 or 4 minutes in chat. Hello, everybody. Anyone want to make any comments about this? I do think that the religious portion of this game is going to turn some people off, so I understand that. I don't expect people to play, but if you do like the Crusade time frame, this is definitely going to be a good game for you to check out.
It scared me when you paused on religious. I was like, please don't say zealot. Please don't say zealot. Please don't say zealot.
This strikes me as something that Bo would like to play.
Probably.
Yeah, the biggest thing I'm worried about with this one is the PvP aspects, because from my understanding, the Roblox game was not exactly the most restrictive of being a bit of a jerk. And so I'm kind of like, we'll see if they maybe learn some lessons, because that would be cool.
Yeah, anytime you got PvP involved, you gotta expect there's gonna be some toxic elements. There's just no way around that. I mean, I've played enough PvP games to know that there's always gonna be that guy.
Yeah, I'm not touching this one with a 10-foot pole.
That is perfectly fine. There is a lot of games in this lineup, and they're not all going to hit the mark. There are some that are going to miss the mark, and but the key here is that I wanted to be able to bring you the game and let you decide for yourself what you're going to like, what you're not going to like. We can't play them all. There's no way everybody's playing all 17 games I'm listing here. This is no way. So just if you like something, we want to know about it so that we can then shape our community towards that product. So it's all about feeling the pulse of Gaiscioch and what you guys want to play. So if you're a yay, great. If you're a nay, then let us know. You know, we want to know these things.
Yeah, I have concerns on this one. I think it mostly didn't somebody else try to do the politician general type of city building?
Yeah, Ashes of
in the past?
Creation.
Ashes of Creation.
And
No,
yeah,
it
we
seems
still
like I'm
don't have
thinking of
any.
something else.
We're still waiting for that one. So
Yeah, no, it seems like I'm thinking of someone though. Anyway, this game seems like it's going to live or die on having a large concurrent population.
yeah, I kind of get a lot of Chronicles
That's
of
my main
Elyria
concern.
vibe
Yeah,
from it.
that's my main concern with it, is that it's either going to be a dead game or it's going to be a lively game.
I understand and I get the historical aspect of it, and I enjoy the historical part of it, but we live in the time and age where people will just flame for flaming's sake, and there's a lot of items in this rhetoric that are going to be flame on, and it may burn the entire thing down because of it.
You never know. I mean, it's not exactly the best time to be pushing this message, but
Right.
hey, it's all good. So I mean, it's people being creative and sticking to things that they're passionate about. I'm sorry, but you can't unwrite history. So history is history. You know, as much as we'd like to forget it, it's part of who we are and what we've grown from. So
Yeah, I'm definitely interested in it. I'm a huge Crusades fan, but it'll be one to watch because there definitely are some concerns there.
and it's a totally brand new indie studio, so they have never developed anything like this before. So it'll be interesting to see if they can pull it off. That said, we probably won't see this for at least 7-8 years. So, all right, let's go ahead and proceed. We got a few more to cover. Alright, Avalon is another game that is going to have Templars in it. This one will also be a unique setup. Now, there is a really kind of thing that you're going to notice on this screen. I left one piece of it there. So the optional Web3 blockchain. Now, this is something that typically I don't support, but their Steam release is 100% blockchain free. Like, it is not built for NFTs or anything. They have two versions of the game. One is going to be non-Steam, and the other is going to be Steam. If you want to play the non-blockchain version, that's over on Steam. It is going to be capturing the whole Avalon, King Arthur, leading to the Knights Templar, like kind of an alternate history. It's going to feature fantasy aspects. There's going to be dragons that you can ride. You can go to war with dragons. So it's going to be kind of interesting. So it's one that I decided to throw up. I did crowdfund this one as well. Mainly because like the Xbox, PlayStation, Windows version, the Steam version, they're all going to be crossplay, and they're all also blockchain free. So while originally they started going down the road that, hey, we're going to build a blockchain game, in the end they realized that was not a sound investment and have kind of adapted from that to build this other version of their game. So overall, I think it's going to be kind of curious to watch. I don't know that I'm entirely on board that I'm going to go play this, but I think that it's worth looking at and keeping an eye on and seeing how it progresses. Let's go ahead and open up the floor over on Discord and let people see.
I need to see more.
Yep.
All right, so your question is, will the non-Steam version have an overwhelming advantage over the Steam player? So the two games are separate. They don't talk to one another.
Okay.
So even if you had the other version, the blockchain version, that version of the game does not talk to the Steam version of the game. They're entirely different servers. It's kind of like what, Sakaran, you know the game, the Earth from Another Sun.
Yeah.
Yeah, that game did the same thing, where they had the NFT version separated off from the non-NFT version.
And it works.
Still need to see more.
Yep, and we will follow
I
it,
agree.
and anything that we get, like if I get new videos, I'll drop them in the MMO videos channel. Go ahead, House Carl.
No, I was agreeing with Pedro. I need to see more than just a short video.
Yep, and anything Avalon or King Arthur, I usually give a chance. So that's kind of my weakness. Anything that's even remotely Celt related, I give a chance. Anything that's Slavic related, I give a chance. So it's definitely something I'll keep an eye on and let you guys know as it develops.
The one thing that worries me is that it says raid 6 players. So normally 6 players a dungeon. A raid is supposed to be 10, 15, 20. So it may be a very small scale type of thing.
Yeah, we will see. Alrighty, let's go ahead and proceed. Alright, we couldn't talk about Siege Warfare games without bringing in Anvil Empires. Many of you will know the crew that built this Siege Camp. They are also the creators of Foxhole, which is a very popular PvP World War II? World War One? I think it's World War II. Kind of same perspective. This time they're taking it medieval, and everything is going to be manned by a real player. Now, my biggest concern with these type of games is what happens if the player population declines. Then is it like a 5v5 game, like trying to siege castle with 5 people, or what's it like? So that's my biggest concern. But overall, looking at Foxhole, it's been continuously, performing well on Steam. So I don't think that that's necessarily going to be a thing that we'll have to worry about early on. Now, the one thing that I did like was Devblog 22, the 3 Empire War. They introduced the Pagan faction. So I have to say that kind of got my attention a little bit. So we might have to poke at this one and see what it's like. I want to open up the floor. I'm sure there is a lot more people that are well versed on this game or even the Foxhole game that could talk about it. So let's hop over on the Discord. And anyone want to comment on Anvil Empires? What do you think?
I had a lot of fun playing it.
Yeah, I just wish you listed it and requested access. So.
All right. Yeah, so I think it'd be worth giving it a try. Maybe if we can get access through the testing, just see if we like it. I mean, Pedro, you tested it, correct?
Yes.
Can you give us a little rundown on what it's like to play?
Well, they gave us a very pre-made version, so we couldn't really do a lot. Just grab our gear and go to war. But we start as a spare soldier. We grab our or you select it if you want to be an archer, a soldier, foot soldier, shield, halberd, etc. And then you get spawned into the different castles that were being sieged. And then you have freedom to go to the rampart, the towers, out the door, etc. If you were an archer, you could go to all the cubby holes, start shooting all the enemies, use the oils, the cannons. I didn't feel that there was actual, you couldn't be stopped by other players. You could go through them. But that may change, but I don't know. There's so many players in one place that I don't think that would be a good idea. It was actually quite fun. But the game is supposed to be from the very beginning, building the castle from the scratch. They do mention that at the time there will not be guilds per se, but you will join a region, one of the 3 factions, and you are part of that faction. So it's one massive guild, one massive faction. You talk to each other. So they're trying not to get everybody separated by guilds. So when the player base goes down, it shouldn't affect that much because you won't be separated by guilds or alliances. It's just your entire faction versus all the other factions.
Right. Essentially, what we'd do is we'd be a war band where we use our Discord to coordinate.
If they join Discord, yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, overall, it is intriguing. It's not the first game I would sign up for, but it's certainly one that I want to keep an eye on. They did better than I expected with Foxhole, so I would be willing to give them a shot and see what they do with Anvil Empires. And from what I've heard from the people that have been testing it, it's actually fairly decent. So, figure it's worth a look.
Yeah, I enjoyed Foxhole, so I'm looking forward to this. And I like the fact that even if I don't want to constantly be PvPing, I can help. If it goes the route of building the castles and gathering stuff, I can go that route and spend a lot of my day doing that.
Yeah, I could see our Gaiscioch tribe being a supportive crew with a handful of warriors that want to go off and fight the big fight.
I mean, during the siege, they need people to go inside and supply the arrows, supply the medkit supply. So you're inside running around supplying, building, crafting, while the other guys are fighting.
Yeah, that could be a fun spot for a lot of players too. Hey, Dorda. Yep. All right, let's go ahead and proceed. We got a couple more Siege Warfare games. This next one was actually quite a surprise.
Thou shalt not kill. So the priests tell us. So the Lord commands. But ambitious men do not listen. I sought no war. But war found me. I became like them. I took up the sword, prayed I could win redemption through my deeds. But some paths, once taken, have only one ending. I shall find no peace. On this road, there is only death. But that's just my story. Go write your own.
Alright, Chronicles Medieval. Now this game you might be thinking, oh great, another PvP sandbox. Oh great, oh great. Well guess what? This is not PvP. This is entirely PvE co-op. Yes, they are working on making the entire campaign co-op. That will probably come closer to release. If not after release, they do have a scenario mode where you can join up with friends and play together in the scenario mode. It is going to be cooperative, friendly PvP, or PvE rather. So if you've ever wanted to play a game like Mount & Blade with friends, this is that game. So definitely check it out on Steam. It's going to be on early access here in 2026. There is a really long kind of developer walkthrough video. I highly recommend everyone checking it out if you're interested in this. They walk you through the whole process. And yeah, it's definitely got some things that are going to be fun. So from everything I've seen so far is like if you took Mount & Blade, took away some of the jank and made it better, and then multiplayer, and then gave it modding support too, because why not? It's a player-driven story that's kind of like you get dumped in the world and you build your story as you see. It has an interesting mechanic where you start off as a soldier, then you turn into a commander of a battalion, and then you can turn into the warlord that you can then command multiple battalions, and then you turn it into like kind of the regional commander that basically is governing the entire war. And there's lots of factions that you can play for and side with, or create your own. So it has a lot of depth to it, and I think that as medieval simulations go, I think this is going to be one to watch. I really think it's going to end up being a top contender. Now, it's not going to be a chapter, but it definitely will be a cooperative adventure. That's for sure. So I expect to find some of you guys playing this with me on weekends or whatnot. We'll do some weekend warrior stuff. We'll see. Should be a lot of fun, though. All right, let's go ahead and open it up, and we'll get some comments. Anyone on Discord have any comments about this one?
I'll be getting it.
Oh, Conneth probably had to go. He would have been all over this one. This is the most Conneth game I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, I'll be playing this.
If it was more than just a single co-op, I would think it was a CB replacement or a competitor, because it looked like a hero commanding an army. So technically that's CB. You're your hero commanding an army, and you do that 10v10 or 15v15. That's CB.
Yeah, it's
with better graphics.
Yeah, the interesting part is you know, I think that this is really going to make Mount & Blade 2 step up a notch. I think we're going to see Mount & Blade 2 take some steps forward before 2026 to try to get to the same tier as this. So if any of you guys have played Mount & Blade 2, you know, it's a pretty fantastic game in its own. It's just, you know, combat is a little janky. There are some things that we wish that could be improved. Definitely not having the cooperative multiplayer is a thing. So this is definitely going to scratch that itch, and I think we'll have its own little demographic that's going to probably end up there. And it's coming to both PCs and consoles, so I think that it's going to be pretty neat. And from what I've heard, it's literally like a European world. Like they've duplicated the map of Europe in some of the Middle Eastern areas.
Cool.
All right.
I
Go ahead,
see
Tucker.
modding support. I said I see modding support, so I'm gonna guess that it's gonna be community servers.
You will be able to have community servers, I believe. It is going to have its like official servers, but and it might actually be peer-to-peer. Not sure, because it's not like a major like 16 player. I think it's 4 player, maybe 6 player. Like co-op. I'm still researching that part. I just got onto their Discord like a couple days ago to try to ask them these questions, and they have some of it answered, but they haven't really done the specifics yet.
Yeah, I'm not sure that having if it's going to be like a weekend co-op type of thing, like having a persistent simulation that's constantly going on during the week, and so like every weekend, like, oh crap, everything's changed.
Yeah.
That it doesn't sound particularly inviting.
I mean, from what it sounds like, the co-op currently is basically you start a campaign as a group, and then you can continue that campaign from a save. So it sounds like it's going to be a peer-to-peer. The idea is to eventually allow the entire campaign to be played cooperatively.
Yeah, like if you're going to get like a persistent group together, that's not playing every single day, like that, would have to be some sort of private server or like private campaign.
Yep. I mean, it might be like Mountain Blade 2, where you can task, your warriors to recruit to go out there and run war parties for you. I mean, they pretty much function on their own.
I put it on wish list, so I'll watch it. But...
It's definitely something to keep an eye on. All right, we got one more Siege Warfare game. Let's go ahead and jump into that next. All right, Kingsmakers, Fog's gonna play this, and everybody had to know that this was definitely a Fog game. It's wacky, it's crazy, it's very Bruce Campbell-esque, and I can't help it. I must play this game. The thought of driving a car through a medieval war zone sounds amazing. I don't know. I just feel like it was like a bunch of drunk dudes sitting around a table eating Cheetos, and they're like, hey, what if we did this? And they're like, oh, that's a great idea. You think they'd go for it? Let's talk to the VC folks. And then they're like, yeah, man, totally. Have you seen these kids eating Tide Pods? Yeah, this is totally it, man. Let's go. I don't know. It's like over the top. I could not believe it when I saw the first trailer, and I just love it. I know I showed it to Dawn, and Dawn loved it. Let's go ahead and open up the floor, and let's just let it loose. What do you guys think? All right, who wants to say a few words about this one? It is co-op, no PvP. Combat strategy hybrid.
The first time I saw the video for this movie, the first person I thought of was you, because I knew you were going to play the daylights out of it.
Yeah. And the fact that they're already filming a live-action version of the game is pretty amazing.
Are you serious?
Yeah, they are.
Wow.
It's the type of game which I honestly hope they don't get too deep, because in order to, like, over the top silliness is one thing, but if they, the deeper they get, the more, rote and tropish it starts to get. So I hope they keep it, relatively simple, and not, just keep, throwing more, more stuff into it.
Yeah, I mean, it's looks pretty fun. I mean, I'll admit.
Yeah, pop a few cornbread gummies and let's do a sesh.
Yeah, just
short,
a few.
A short, goofy campaign that they can just slowly add content over the years. Like, I can totally get behind. But if they, if they start getting, oh well, if we add this after that, it starts to, that initial, like, over the top, silliness starts to just sort of, fade into normalcy, right?
Yep. All right, let's go ahead and keep on rolling. we're gonna go to the next one.
Shed tongues, shed blood, shed legs.
Alright, cut it off a little quick there, but Soulframe Preludes is now becoming widely available. You can go request access, and they, like, for me, it happened right away. So I don't know if there's a delay, but they definitely, like, as soon as I requested, it was granted. So Preludes is kind of the closed alpha, and it's taken, like, over the time that I've played it, it's transitioned quite dramatically. Like, it's had good times, and then it has bad times, and then it goes good again, and then it's bad again, then it's good again. It just matters what time you catch it. So sometimes it might run kind of clunky, and then all of a sudden they'll patch something, and it'll run silky smooth. I'm running on a Windows 10 machine currently, and it plays really well. It's not even my top of the line box. I've been purposely playing it on my slower box, and it does fairly well. So I don't know. I think it's going to be. It just depends on what patch they threw in, and if it's going to be tough. Now you will see Souls-like a lot mentioned with this game. They like to try to make this like a Dark Souls game. Now I will tell you right now, it is nowhere as hard as a Dark Souls game. Nowhere even close. I think that if you were to give your little nephew the controller and tell him to play this and pretend it's Dark Souls, it'd probably be like, "This is boring, Dad," you know, or you know. So I don't know. This game has an amazing artistic style. The soundtrack is absolutely stunning. The storytelling is amazing, like top notch. I tip my hat to them for this. I mean, this is like Baldur's Gate 3 level storytelling, you know, the original Elder Scrolls series storytelling. It's really captivating, and I really like the way that they wrote it. Combat is probably the one part that is still being worked on the most, and I've seen the most transition over time through, so I think it's still a work in progress. I wouldn't get your mindset that this is how it's going to be at launch. I think it's still being finely molded like clay. Let's go ahead and open up Discord chat for anyone that wants to talk about what they've seen in Prelude so far. Hello, everybody. Has anyone tried Prelude yet? Anything to comment or say?
No, I do have access, but I did not install it because my laptop's down, and all I have is my old Windows 10. But you just said it worked really well, so I'll probably try it out.
Yeah, I'm going to be streaming this one for the extra life, no doubt. This is like, I wanted to stream it last year, but they didn't remove the NDA in time, so I wasn't able to. It's been a game that I've been part of for probably 2 years, 3 years almost, and it's by far my vote for Game of the Year whenever it releases. I honestly feel it's going to sweep that Game of the Year.
I'll definitely I'll definitely chime in. It's definitely up and down. Like first time I jumped in, like I was absolutely over everything. Like combat felt great, like the storytelling felt great, the exploration felt great. You know, jumped in like 6 months later, and man, it felt like everything had changed. Like the combat felt like super clunky. Like I just couldn't get into it. The exploration like changes like just didn't feel right. But you know, from what I've heard for people who have like basically been constantly playing it, like it's all about they're really experimenting. Like they're actually using the time to really experiment with different combat systems, different combat styles, different exploration, storytelling, progression. So I am perfectly willing with giving them as much time as it needs. From them to play around with different systems, see what works, see what doesn't.
Yeah, and you'll have times when you'll play like great, and then you'll have times where you'll play like crap, and then you'll play like great again. So it's when you're in a testing environment, you got to expect that some days they're gonna flip the bit and just totally wreck the game, and then some days they'll fix it, and then all of a sudden everything will be silky smooth again. So you just got to be patient with it, and if you get into it and it's not performing optimally, come back to it in a few weeks and see if the patches fix it, because a lot of times they do.
Yeah, I've been playing this one for a while as well. For anybody who has any vertigo issues, it isn't actually all that rough. It's been pretty up and down, though, as I said, with the whether it's been good or bad. But it's been a decent journey since I've started this, like, I don't know, a year and a half, 2 years ago.
Awesome. All right. We got 3 more games in the lineup, and then I will release you guys and let you guys go play. All right. Let's go ahead and take a look at the next one.
Warning, hostile ships detected.
All right, Jump Ship is the latest space co-op FPS coming out. It is very much in the vein of another game that we played quite a bit of, Void Crew, but they're putting more focus on boots on the ground and extracting things. So you go into places, you loot stuff, and then you get out. I'm not sure that there is PvP, but there probably will be eventually. Right now it's all co-op from what I've seen. And they did just recently have a demo available during the Steam Games Fest. I think that's what it's called. But I did not actually get to play it, sadly. I missed it. But it's going to definitely have another little play session here soon. So if you are interested in checking it out, go ahead and head over to their Steam page. And they have links to their Discord and everything there. Highly recommend getting involved. Let's go ahead and open up the floor. Anybody out there interested in playing this game when it comes out? I'm pretty sure that Dawn and I will be giving it a go.
Pedro ought to be playing it. It's got pineapple pizza.
Yeah, you would
I heard
think.
Pedro was getting it because it served pineapple pizza.
I think Pedro probably had to go though, sadly. So yeah.
Oh no, he missed it.
Yeah, he probably seen it though. I've showed him this one before. So, but yeah, I could see us being the guys with the guns, protecting Pedro as he's running with his pizza in his hand. I could totally see this happening.
If it does more boots on the ground, I might be able to try this one. But with as much of it as they've shown in like space and flying, it is definitely a no for Vertigo.
Yeah, we would just have to stick you in the engine room, putting out the fires. We would do all the flyings.
Yeah, I'm cautiously optimistic, for this. I don't know how much longevity it will have, but I think it will be a blast for at least a few weeks.
Yeah, and if it comes out in time for the Extra Life, it'll be one of our Extra Life. So I'm really hoping that we'll have access to it here soon.
Yeah, I think my main concern with this one is the for long-term play. That is, would be the needing the having to rely on the pre-made uh, team to play. I mean, are they how are they going to fit the when your friends aren't available but you want to play? What are you going to do?
Yeah, exactly.
If it's
And that,
anything like
that
Void Crew, you can have drop in, drop out.
Yeah,
So
it's just lining up schedules. I mean, this is what always seems to happen with a lot of these co-op ship types of games. Like it's really strong for a first part, then one person one person like moves to another game, another person moves to another game. Next thing you know, there's trying to actually get all four people or six, whoever at the same
Yeah,
time. It,
yeah.
so like I
I've
said, it
been
will be
watching.
a blast for a few weeks, but it's probably going to fizzle out.
I've been watching this for a while to see whether or not they've landed on whether it's a couch co-op or if it's going to be a matchmaking co-op, and I really haven't seen any information one way or the other.
yeah, I'm hoping it's just a casual. Let's get together and play. Let's not get too serious. Just go out there and extract stuff and build our bases and whatnot, and come home. It's. I don't think it needs to be super convoluted. I think sometimes the simplest games make the most impact. Like if you look at Fall Guys, for example, like there's not much to it, but it is widely popular because of it's just this wacky nature and just being good at what it's supposed to be doing. I think that they don't need to be super convoluted. I think it could be easy, but like the ship management, it's going to be really be interesting to see what that entails and how customization you can do on the ship, or how much customization you can do. And then I'm really interested in the combat. Does the combat feel good? So that's going to be something that I'm going to be looking for. And we should honestly see this drop into early access here in the next few months. All right, let's go ahead and proceed. We got a couple more. All right, folks. This one has recently dropped into early access on Steam. They have the little demo that you can play. It's currently multiplayer, so you can actually play with your friends. Highly recommend checking it out. I don't know if you are a survival crafting fan, but this is definitely a survival crafting game. It really gives me the Enshrouded vibes, kind of like let's take Enshrouded and make it like a Pacific Island Enshrouded. You can have up to 10 friends building villages and playing with you, so it should be kind of neat on that front. I most likely will plug in and give it a try and see what we think. I don't know if I'll be with it long term. There's not much sieging going on here, and I tend to climatize towards the siege warfare games. But it does have a really cool art style, and I really liked Enshrouded. I built a lot of stuff in Enshrouded while we were there, and I even have the private server save file just in case we ever want to launch it again. So it's definitely something that I'd look into and see. If it's good, I probably will slot it for the extra life. It's definitely one that caught my eye and caught the interest of a few other people. So let's go ahead and open up the Discord really quick. All right, Trithian, what did you think about this one? You are a resident guru for all things survivally. Jerome. Jerome is the other one that I trust for all things survival.
I think it looks like it's got some potential, some fun to be had. I think it's going to depend a lot on how smooth things work with not only playing together, but not excluding people as a group when we get launched.
Yeah, I enjoyed playing this one. I didn't do any multiplayer with it, so I don't know if any of that would be like Uncharted, where if I did it, someone else couldn't, because that was bad when Uncharted had that. But graphically, I liked this. The story was good. I liked the gathering and crafting.
Yeah, it seemed to be a bit more polished, like, than a lot of the survival games out there. I felt like, just watching the gameplay videos and stuff, it looks like it's in a better place, getting ready for early access, which is, I guess, on September 16th now. So once it drops there, I'll probably give it a try, and, you know, maybe we can get a group of us playing it on a weekend or something.
Yeah, I'm installing the demo right now. Let's check it out. And can I just say, oh my God, these game engines these days? Holy crap. That's a beautiful game.
Yep. There's a lot of really, like, that's the thing I love about the game industry, is it's just taking the beauty of art and pushing it to the max. There's so much, like, going into these games these days. It's pretty fantastic.
It's one of those games where you really don't care much about the gameplay, you just want to explore.
I mean, growing up from when, you know, a pixel was a character, you know, we've seen this whole transition of art come to be in the gaming industry, and just this industry just bloomed technology. Like, without gaming, I don't think technology would have pushed as far as it has. It's just really neat. All right, let's go ahead and cover this last one, and then we can call it for the day.
Wait, even the trailer's timeline is jumbled. We jumped in at the end. Let's back it up a bit, shall we? This whole mess started on a day like any other. Or it was, until the sky shattered and everything started falling apart. Time, space, reality, my sanity. Next thing I know, I'm in Infinitopia, the final safe haven across all timelines, past, present, and future. It's pretty much the only place that isn't being gobbled up by the effects of the shattering. At least, so far. And if we want to keep it that way, we're gonna need to get busy. Cue the montage. Us survivors strike out into the wilds, using everything we can, from whenever we can, to push back the Tangle and its never-ending waves of corrupted time echo creatures. The more you work together, the smoother this whole thing goes. Mostly. But hey, if at first you don't succeed, die again. But don't worry, it's not all death by giant crabs and cosmic beasties out here. Every time survivors venture out, they have the chance to grab some really sick gear, which comes in handy when you're bumping heads with the really big baddies out there. Which brings us back to this monstrosity. Automaton? More like Automagon.
Timeline collapse in 3, 2, 1. You are out of time.
Hey, that's the name of the game.
All right, you gotta admit that this was a perfectly placed game for the last one of our little festival today. Out of Time is a game that literally dropped their trailer last week, and I saw it and I was like, oh my god, this gives me serious, like, original Fortnite vibes before they turned it into a battle royale. It's going to be aimed at pretty much the $25 price point. There will be PvP modes added, and it will be ending up to be free to play. So you can pay the premium purchase for the $25, but it's going to have a full PvP mode that is free to play. So it's going to be interesting to see how this all works. I mean, it literally feels like Fortnite all over again. You've got like this paid version that is like the killing all the zombies and stuff, and then you got the free version, which is the PvP, which turned into Battle Royale. So I don't know. We'll see. It's another Epic Games Store. It runs on the Unreal Engine, so we're gonna have to keep an eye on it. I'm not sure what I feel yet on this game. I kind of like the wackiness of it, but it's just kind of a little hesitant that it's going to end up being the same thing again, where I put all my hopes and dreams into something, and then they just totally go the opposite direction and dump me on my butt. All right, what do you guys think? What do you think of Out of Time? Go ahead on Discord. Who wants to comment on this last game in our lineup?
I think they could have come up with a better name than Infinitopia.
Probably. But they were out of time. They had to stick something down.
Clearly.
It made me. It makes me miss WildStar.
Oh, yeah, gone too soon. Game ahead of its time. All right. Any other comments on this one?
I don't know. But for what you were talking about with Fortnite, I believe that Epic went back and reopened the PvE side. They've been actively developing that in like the last year or so. I think what do they call that?
Well, they launched the creative mode. I haven't really played it in the past few years, like when they went Battle Royale and pretty much ignored the other side, the Save the World side. I pretty much lost interest.
Yeah, they I remember reading like last year. I think they went back and because they had stopped development. They put in they said they were putting in maintenance mode because they wanted to focus on the Battle Royale stuff. But then they went back and they came out with this huge update for Save the World, and I think they've been doing various stuff with that PvE side over the last year or something. I can't remember. I'd have to go do some googling, but yeah, they and if this game puts any pressure on them, they'll definitely hopefully ramp up some effort on that Save the World side again.
Yeah, I'm always happy for competition. Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Like, hopefully this will put a little pressure on them, and they'll have to innovate a little bit.
I get a little bit of like Nightingale vibe from this, and I'm kind of concerned that it'll have the lifespan that Nightingale had too.
Yeah. I mean, the central MMO like social hub sounds kind of like Guild Wars 1, so maybe there'll be ways to meet players, or even Dauntless had that, but it's just a matter of how long will the replayability be there,
Yeah.
Well, Nightingale's not totally gone either. They just released their Nightingale City, which they said they were axing earlier when they had the layoffs. They just released the Nightingale City, and they got still got big plans for more content releases.
All right, folks. That pretty much brings us around to the rest of our upcoming adventures. These are the games that are trending highest in the Gaiscioch community. If you want to play any of them, be sure to hit up our Discord. Love to chat with you about them. I'm going to add a few more of the games from today's lineup to that list. So there'll be a few more things to vote on the Gaiscioch site. And there is a poll running. I did misspell Odyssey. I think autocorrect got the worst of me. And but yeah, it's in there. So, but definitely cast your votes in those polls. Let me know which games you like. If you want to leave a comment in the threads for the Siege Warfare Horizon poll or post, feel free to leave some feedback in there. Your feedback is very important. Like, this community doesn't go anywhere without you guys deciding to play. Like, the reason I play games is because there are people that want to play those games. I go and play that game because I like being around you people. You're all fun people. I really admire all of you. You guys are the reason I keep doing this. It's not the games that keep me here, it's you guys. So thank you all for being part of this community, and I really look forward to sharing this adventure with you and seeing where we go next. There's a lot of fun on the horizon, and I look forward to being there and sharing some laughs and sharing some adventures with you all. I hope that we make some epic memories that you can talk about in the future. And does anyone have any questions before we go? Any comments? Blood Bowl. When are you going to start running it, Dorda? Got to get that Blood Bowl
When
back
I have
up
enough
there.
people to play.
Yeah.
I'm always down for Blood Bowl.
There you go.
I got Door, Engineering, and maybe one or two others, but I need at least 6.
Okay.
I see Ashfall on the list there on the screen.
Yep.
Did you cover that today?
No, we did not cover it today. They haven't had an update in about 2 years.
Yeah, I know, right?
So, as soon as I get any news on it, I will report it. It was a really fun game. The one demo or the one beta that I did play, and I was really looking forward to it, but I have not seen a single peep out of them since.
Yeah, I eventually dropped their Discord because it was just a dead Discord. No people popped in for years.
Yeah.
In the
Honestly,
interesting
that's like-
column, Camel Unchained actually dropped a trailer finally. I don't know if you guys saw that. So we've advanced to the point after 10 years that they can produce a trailer. So there's hoping that my grandkids will be able to play it.
Well, Jacobs has swore up and down 26, so.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see about that. All right, everyone. Thank you for coming. I look forward to seeing you guys again soon. I really appreciate you coming. This was a absolute dumpster fire to try to get out the door. And I'm sorry it did not go as planned or